Hello everyone, and welcome to the Positivity Vibe Tribe space. It's Indra Bartona I here, and today I am joined with Master Nobody on episode 2 of Introverts. Let's talk. Hey, welcome everybody. We are just getting set up in the space. The chat is live. I'm just going to put a note in the chat. Okay, so feel free to jump into the chat, everybody. Say hello as that first. I've just put a note in the chat, and I'm just going to head over to my page at the moment and load up a few things for the nest. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Okay, Rishana is already in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to load up a link to my YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys subscribing to that. I'm going to put a few other things in the nest. Of course, I'm going to put the link to the Positivity Vibe Tribe community. If you haven't joined already, then of course love you to join, you guys. All right. And hey, Julie is here. Welcome, Scott, Baresh, Bang. All right, I've just put a couple of things up in the nest, and I'm going to get the rest up there now. Okay. That's weird. Okay, I'm just going to load up. Of course, I want to add our sponsors. Wordsmith Pakistan, that would be important to put that up in the nest. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to the Positivity Vibe Tribe space, talking about introverts today, episode 2. And Master will be along very soon. Okay, let me just, I have no idea where I put, okay, here we go. I'm just going to load up one last thing. And then we'll have everything that we need in the nest. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the last thing up in the nest is, okay, let me get Master set up. Warm welcome, Master.
How are you?
I am having a great morning so far. It's beautiful here in California. How are you?
Lovely. Emotions are calm. Energy is flowing. Beautiful.
Love to hear that, as always. You're always very peaceful and prepared for the space, so thank you for doing all of that.
Well, it's the energy of the space, not just me, but the people here. See, we all are vibrating on the same frequency. That's why we all connected.
Absolutely.
So it just flows into, it just leaks into everyone. The energy, it's on the same frequency that we're all vibrating. So it's beautiful.
Absolutely. And the perfect space. So we are going to take some speakers a little bit later. We're going to set the space up. We're going to have a little chat and kind of, you know what I thought, Master? I thought it would be nice for us to just talk about some of the personality traits or some characteristics of introverts, and then we can invite everybody up to share. What are your thoughts on that today?
Sounds great.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So welcome everybody as you're getting settled into the space. The chat is open and live. So I see Roshana's already in there. Thank you for jumping into the chat. Roshana and anybody else that would like to start just saying hello and introduce yourself. And also, if you don't feel comfortable coming up and speaking, the chat is the perfect way to ask a question or to share a thought, because I know not everyone wants to take the mic, and that is absolutely understandable. And you could be working, you could be busy, or you just don't want to do it. So first of all, let's just head up to the nest. First off, up there is our sponsors, Wordsmith Pakistan. Thank you to them for sponsoring this space. And they have great content development if you need some support. Their information is up there. The next thing up there is, of course, the Positivity Vibe Tribe community. If you haven't joined already, do join the community. We would love to have you. And then the next thing is, of course, the link to my YouTube channel. So on the YouTube channel, there are guest interviews, there's lessons learned, there is guided meditations and affirmations, and so much more. So love your subscribe on there, and really appreciate all the people that do subscribe and use the content. Okay. Hey, Lance and Karen have arrived in the room. Yay! Always exciting. Divya. Scott is here. Crystal is here. Yay! Just giving a shout out to everybody. Sidha is here. Mora, Lavana. Always great to see you guys. Nell, India, Fats, Nairobi. Great to see all of you. Anushka, Latifa. Gosh, so many familiar faces are in this space, Master. I'm sure familiar to you, familiar to me. So we are very blessed to have you all here. And I think, without further ado, we should probably make a start, an official start to this space. All right. So warm welcome everybody to the space. I'm Indra Bartona, producer in the film and television industry, TV host, and the founder of the Positivity Vibe Tribe. Originally, I'm from the Gold Coast, Australia, lived in London for several years, now based in Los Angeles. A little bit of background on the Positivity Vibe Tribe. I started my YouTube channel in June last year with a positive vibe lifestyle theme, and it became my personal brand. So as mentioned, there's a link up in the nest, or you can find it on my profile page. So Positivity Vibe Tribe is a natural evolution to bridge the gap between all social media platforms, and most importantly, bring conversations to life with all of you. So today, today is part of our Wednesday series where the Positivity Vibe Tribe space, we join forces with at Master_Nobody. So our mission of supporting the community is perfectly aligned, plus our content works beautifully in harmony together. So he prefers to be called by his pen name Master, and writes content about insights to help introverts heal and grow and become their best selves. Master has a new Sunday newsletter, the Introvert Letter. So please subscribe to that. It's on his profile. And also runs an exclusive Telegram channel for aware beings. He also has a great blog, and the blog can be found at masternobody.com. So if you're not already following Master, make sure you are. And on that note, welcome, warm official welcome, Master, and let's kick off this topic of introverts.
Thank you. Thank you, Indra, and welcome everyone to the second episode of this ongoing series that Indra and I came up with. That's making people talk, the people who never talk, who are there thinking, living in their own minds. Great deep minds with great depth that introverts have. I am being one, so I understand how their brain works and how they're thinking and making associations about everything in this world, and then trying to understand, have a better sense of everything, their lives, their relationships, their work, and everything spiritual about them, understanding why they are here, their purpose of life. There's a whole lot going in there. And the purpose of this space, and also the changing of my whole content, is to make these people talk because I'm interested. Before I started this channel, no one heard me. There was no one, and I know how it feels, because you have someone wise said that introverts have the loudest minds, the quiet ones have the loudest minds. So I am here to hear you. I want to hear you. I'm interested. I'm curious to know what is going on in your minds. So if you have any questions, any queries, if you want to share some insights, or just generally want to share your experience of being an introvert, or if you have a problem, we'll try our best to help you understand and give a proper solution for it. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction to why we are hosting this important space on introverts. And warm welcome to everybody that's just joined us in the space. We look forward to sharing with you our thoughts and hope to be of support to the introvert community. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about how we recognize the different traits or personality or just pieces of ourselves as introverts that makes us think, okay, well, we probably are introverts because we have certain things that are definitely on the opposite side of extroverts. And that's the easiest way to almost measure it. It's virtually being the opposite. But I think it goes so much more deeper than that, as in the actual traits of introverts. I mean, let's start off with this basic one. And I know, Master, this is one that you and I have both tweeted about many times because we're in daily contact with each other on the tweet side of things. But one of the main things is that it's almost as if we look for the moments, we search, we make time for solitude. Being alone is a wonderful thing for introverts. It's something that the soul seeks. It's a normal part of us having this. You can even think of it as a sacred time for us to grow, to thrive. And again, I'm going to compare it to extroverts thrive and they get a lot of energy out of being around a lot of people. You know, they want that social interaction. But as introverts, we often seek the solace, the quiet times, to energize, to feel alive again, to even find creativity. I know that's for myself, working in the entertainment area, that I will take time and solace, and I will find creativity. So let's kind of start on these kind of basics of what we notice about ourselves as introverts. Master, over to you on some thoughts.
I would completely agree to what you just said. See, there are these two different personality types and completely opposite of each other. And it's in perfect harmony with nature. You see? If you look at nature, everything exists in two opposites. Up and down, black and white, day and night, good times and bad times. In the same way, nature made these two beautiful personalities, the introverts and the extroverts. And both are equally important. Both balance each other. See, without balance, nature wouldn't exist. It won't function the way it does so beautifully. Because both are important. Now, since we are focusing on the introverts, so we'll talk about introverts and their nature and how they think and how they feel about their worlds. As the word says, introverts, they're introverted. They're introspective in nature. That's the number one thing. And solitude just merges into that. That is your sacred space. I know a lot of introverts. I've been in touch. There have been a lot of my clients who were introverts. And the number one problem they face, in my experience, is that they try to run away from this solitude. Although they seek it internally, their soul wants it because that's what refuels them, recharges them, and makes them feel who they are. But on the other hand, they also fear it. Quite contrary. They fear it. And they turn to different kind of distractions. Scrolling Instagram feeds for hours and hours, or watching movies or videos, doing all sorts of things to run away from this solitude that they need. Why do they need? Why am I stressing it so much that you need to spend time alone without the distraction? See, this is the important part. It doesn't mean that you're laying in the bed, your room is locked, and you're not there. You see, you're not there. You're in your phone or on your laptop or in somewhere else. You're distracted. You won't be able to discover your gift if you are functioning like that. What you really need to do is you need to keep your distractions away. Sit there in silence and face the silence and experience the silence and solitude. And something magical will happen in that moment. And let me explain you what will happen. You will start discover, or you will start aligning with your true nature. All of a sudden, you will be smiling, full of joy like a child, looking at a bird or an animal for the first time. And it's not your fault, my friends. It's not your fault because the culture is that way. It is designed in a way to make you addicted to these distractions. It's not your fault. But that's where awareness comes in. And for introverts, it's very important to be aware because they can be lost in their own minds. And years may pass and they won't know what life was. That is the truth. So that's why it's important for you to be aware, and for some time. I'm not saying you have to quit them all, no. But yes, some time. Take out some time in your day for a couple of hours of introspection and sitting in silence and understanding your own nature and accepting your true nature. And you will see, you will start discovering all kinds of gifts you have. You will start writing in journals, or maybe maximum, and it's nothing about extroverts, and extroverts are not here, so I can say that almost more than half of creative people are introverts. Half of the creative people. You pick up any famous person, a scientist, or anyone who invented something, everyone was an introvert. Einstein, Newton, Madame Curie, Obama, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. They all were introverts. Look how powerful they were. Why? Because they were not distracted. They were focused on something important, their purpose. And they knew their power. They didn't speak to many people, didn't hang out with crowds. But they knew there's something inside them, and they followed it. They followed their curiosity, and you can find that curiosity only in solitude. Thank you.
Some wonderful sharing there of your insights for introverts. And I think everything you said was so incredibly accurate. I didn't really think about all the creative people, and I just now thought of specifically in my industry, the writers are all introverts that I work with. It's incredible. They will just go off and disappear. And they will take, say, if we're working on a screenplay, and they will just absolutely disappear and not be anywhere seen, not on social media, not anywhere. They lock themselves away, and they create the most beautiful stories, the most beautiful screenplays. And that's what they're doing. They're creating in solitude, in silence. And I think that's the most incredible example that I can think of. I mean, there's many, and many of the other famous people that you mentioned have contributed in such magnificent ways to society. And I think it's underestimated that, and it just made me think about the writers that I work with and how sacred that time is for them. And whenever I interact with the writers, they're always like, there's no music on in the background, there's no television, there's no nothing. And I kind of compare it to other people in the industry that I work with that will have all these other things happening in the background. And theirs is very quiet. In fact, a lot of the time, well, with a couple of them, it sounds like they're sitting in their garden. Sometimes I can hear birds, I can hear the rustling of leaves or trees. And that's really a beautiful thing. And that's where they are finding that inspiration, in the quietness, in the peaceful moments. And never to be, wow, that's just incredible. And I hadn't really even thought about the most incredible creative group of people that I work with. In order to make the movie, there has to be this screenplay. I mean, this is the basis of everything that I would do, is the screenplay from these creative writers who work in solitude, who seek peace, who who I know have really enjoyed the change, how many people are not, having so many meetings. Well, now we are back to it, but still it's more convenient to do Zoom meetings. And then, they're able to work more quietly from home rather than even having to meet everybody in person so much. So that's a pretty amazing just realization that I have come to in looking at this whole process stems from the creative process of what the writers contribute, and everything is built on that. The entire collaboration of a movie is based on this beautiful screenplay basis of the pages of all that time that the writers have taken for themselves in solace, in just pure solitude, in order to get this completed. That's an incredible realization, Master. And it just came to me when you were describing the process and how introverts gain this purpose for themselves of being in a peaceful surroundings. So I want to throw back to you, but I do want at this point invite people up to share, to contribute, to speak. Many of you wonderful introverts in this space, Master and I would love to hear from you. If you have questions, if you want to share your experiences, if you want to share some thoughts, and also thank you before we go any further to everybody who has lit up the chat. I see Lance and Karen have been busy in there. Thank you so much for sharing. Crystal is in there, and of course Roshana was the first person to jump in there today. And I'm just going to read a couple of things here from Sarah. Says, "Hi Indra, I'm a major introvert, so I'm here." And Crystal, namaste. And Rich, nice to be alive, Diamond. And Lance is saying, "Hi Indra, hi Master." And thank you so much, everybody, for jumping into that chat and making it live. And Master and I will definitely, if we haven't already acknowledged and liked what you've shared, we will later if we don't get to it. So warm welcome to speakers who would like to come up and join us. We would love to hear from you as we are taking speakers now in the space. And I just want to say that because this is a introvert discussion space, if you haven't spoken before but you would like to speak in this space, or you haven't even spoken in a space before, this is the place, because Master and I are giving you so much support and we would love to hear from you.
Hello.
If you feel comfortable.
Hello.
So Master, any last thoughts on some of these things that we've just shared in this space before we invite the first official speaker up?
Yes, let's spare no time. Let's invite them. It's all about them. See, it's less about me and all about them. But certainly I would be more than happy to answer any questions if they have. So go ahead, my friends. Open up. It's your space. This is for you, you wonderful, lovely people of mind. Open up. Let's talk.
Hello.
Jude? Yes, Jude. Did you want to share something with us?
Yes, I'm actually from Nigeria. I'm trying to say hello to everybody here to this space. It's actually my first time talking in Twitter, and I'm an introvert too, so I would like to learn more about what you guys are going to say today. Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
I'm
you, Jude.
done.
Thank you and welcome to the space. We're happy to have you here, so you can just sit
Thank
here
you.
in the speakers.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, you're warm. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so and just mute your mic when you're not speaking. Thank you, Jude. Okay, Lynn, you have your hand up. Warm welcome to this space.
Thank you. Really intrigued me when I saw that was about introverts. I struggle between the introvert and the extrovert because I am very much an introvert. I like my alone time. I need it. If I don't get it, I'm a cranky girl. um, and but on the other hand, I would like to have more social activities. So I'm caught like in between. Um, so it's a struggle for me to try to open up, and even on some of these spaces that I've gone to, and um, the um, host will like call out your name even though you're just a listener and want you to talk, and it's like sometimes it's uncomfortable because it's like I just wanted to listen, you know what I mean? So I wonder if other people struggle in the same way that I do.
Master.
Welcome, Glenn, and thank you for speaking. And here we don't force people, don't worry. If you want to speak, then you can tell Indra and she will let you know. She will give you the chance. And it's a good question, Len. This experience of feeling like you're torn between wanting to connect with people and on the other hand wanting to be alone. So it's so contradictory, and it tears you apart from the insides. Sometimes you feel like it's driving you mad. And as you mentioned, cranky girl, so I understand why you feel like that. This happens. It won't happen. I'll tell you the conditions because I've observed myself. I've done self-observation for a very long time. And something I experienced was that when your energies, you see, thought, actions, and emotions, I call them energy together. So let's not talk about them separately. So both these three things directed in one direction, let's call that energy. When your energy is not creating, when it's not engaged with anything, that's the only point where you will feel the need to connect with something. It's not you. See, it's your energy. Energy is always moving. Now, if you know the ways of meditation, if you know the ways of yoga, you can move it inwards. Then you won't feel the need to connect with anyone else apart from yourself. See, apart from your own soul. But if you're not familiar with the ways of meditation and yoga and other practices, spiritual practices, then the energy wants to connect with something. And that's your longing, what makes you feel agitated sometimes, wanting to connect, and you feel like you're acting like an extrovert, wanting to connect. You're not an extrovert, dear. You are an introvert who wants to connect sometimes. You cannot always be an introvert. Sometimes even introverts have one friend or two friends. I don't think they have more. Maybe more. But they only have one or two close friends. So it's your inner need. See, you're human. Human beings are social beings. We want connection. It doesn't matter if it's to a crowd, if it's to your own self, or with a couple of people. See? So whenever you feel that you're feeling like an extrovert, it's making you all cranky and your energies are not right. You know that feeling when you're not feeling like you? Yeah? That's the sign. Okay? That's your sign to go out, meet your favorite people. Okay, you don't have to go out to a restroom because that's the place to hang out. No. You can go out and meet your favorite people, go out to a place. Nature is also your friend. For introverts, cats are friends, dogs are friends, even animals count. In those phases, connect with people. And when you're, again, yourself, you won't feel the need. Hope that answers your question, dear.
It does. When I said I get cranky, it's when I don't get my alone time, I get cranky. But then I'm torn to want to be social. So yes, and I do walk out in nature and I do meditate. But one of my girlfriends is such an extrovert. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I should be doing all the things she's doing, just because we should be social animals. But I'm glad what you said, because maybe there's a lot more people like me than I thought. I felt kind of alone in because I like to be alone.
There absolutely is, Lynn. There's so many more people, and as Master had mentioned, and that was an incredible explanation, Master, that there are many of us, and we'd be surprised how many, particularly in the creative areas, that there is of us. I was going to say, make a mention, Lynn, that when you feel that kind of that what you described as crankiness or agitated, because maybe you're overdoing it in the social area. It's there's something else that you also mentioned about you feel like maybe you should be more like your friend. Well, I think comparison is not a good thing. Like, even if we're doing it subconsciously, you have an awareness of this because you just mentioned it, which is a great thing, because you've just basically described why you think it is. You've actually almost answered your question. You've brought the awareness to the fact that, well, you're comparing yourself to your friend. And if your friend is an extrovert, well, she's gaining all this energy and you're losing energy. And that's often, okay, so there was a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about sometimes when we are feeling like lower vibrational feelings, our frequency is at a much lower vibration. We're not feeling so much joy in our hearts. We're losing energy. We're feeling kind of heavy in our bodies or in our minds. Well, that is the time to go and be alone, because it's just we need some alone time to refuel. And sometimes that means you're just going to sit quietly and journal and allow things to just flow on the page in a really messy and unorganized way, just to unfold your emotions. Or maybe you just need to go for a walk in nature, or to go for a hike, or to go to the beach, do something, get your toes in the sand, get your toes in the grass, feel grounded and connected to something away from the busyness. And I also want to just add one more thing, Lynn, to what you mentioned, is we are living in a very highly fueled social media time in our lives. So for introverts, there is this kind of pressure on introverts to comply to, where are you, to hop onto everything. And look, you can have moments where you might feel comfortable being on a TikTok video or being on an Instagram video. And they're moments, and that's your time to choose, not because there is a pressure for you to do that. Okay, I have to be on there 10 times a day posting, whatever it is. No, you don't have to do that. It's if you feel that moment comes to you, then yes. Or if you've prepared, like today, for example, you've prepared, you want to speak in the space. So this is a organic piece for you. I just wanted to just add that piece. So thank you so much. Let's welcome Lance up. Lance and Karen. If Lance is here, that means Karen is here. Warm welcome to the space, Lance.
Thank you, Indra. Hello, Master. Thank you for speaking,
Lance.
Lynn.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my mom is here, but she's kind of like doing her thing in the background here. I have a story I like to share, and I'm going to take you through a metaphor. I'm going to use from a movie called Indiana Jones. Now, Indiana Jones had to make it from one part of the cave to the next part, but there was this huge black gap between, and he knows that if he were to put his 1 foot over the edge, that it's a big bottomless drop. But on the other end, there's the doctor saying, you must believe, boy. And then Indiana took this leap of faith and decided to take the step anyway and move forward. Now, I've been working with different people in different martial arts over the years, a lot of introverts and extroverts. But with the introverts, I found out when I got into the martial art called Muay Thai for sports boxing, and they would go and fight in arenas and stuff like that. They love taking the martial art, but and in their quality time. But then once they got better at it, they got their blue shorts, and then some got their red shorts, and then they'd say, okay, the next step for you is to go out into the arena where you have to go into a tournament and fight another person, but also believe in yourself, have that passion to thrive forward instead of falling back, because I don't want to fall back on anybody. I want to fall forward. And by thriving they were backing off. And the first word that they said is, I can do this, Lance, but I don't know what the other crowd is going to think of me, because I'm afraid of success. Some were even afraid to fail. And then I shared my pogo story, where once upon a time I got in this pogo and I fell off it. I scraped my knees. And then I talked to the kid that scraped his knees 5,000 times. And he says, that's natural. What you have to learn how to do is learn how to get back on the horse. Learn that in failure, is it that you're really failing, or is it that you're learning to do something different for next time? Gathering that patience, gathering that persistence, that will equal your success. So in all that, they took a look at different areas, like what don't I want to see about going into that tournament. And then once they started writing goals, started and doing different things, I ended up saying, just like I wrote out there today, I'm rooting for you. I believe in you. You just have to believe in yourself with enough trust and face your golf. Face that Indiana Jones golf with inside, and take that first step toward something else that I know that's deep inside of every one of you, that has that passion and that fire to move forward. So that's what I want to share. And I hope whoever is hearing this is inspired, or it helps them out to move forward. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello,
yep, Master.
hello.
Yes, can you just wait for your turn, please? Parashu, we're going to get to you, but we have a response. I want to hear Master's response to Lance, and then there's another speaker. Thank you for your patience.
Fine.
Master, love to hear your thoughts on the beautiful story that Lance just shared with us.
Lance, what a beautiful story. One of my favorite movies and film characters of all time. It is. In one word, falling forward. That's the two words that explains it all. Falling forward. That's life. See, that's the most important thing that keeps people from getting what they want. It's not that they don't have the skills. It's not that they don't know what they want. Everyone knows what they want. It's the fear of failure that stops them from taking that leap of faith. Because they're afraid of the embarrassment that will follow. Because falling is inevitable. They will fall, that's for certain. That's how they'll learn. But when you fall forward, when you take that leap of faith, and you tell yourself, I will do it. I believe in myself. And whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go forward and let's see what's this all about. See, that's life. If you're not learning, if you're not going forward and having that experience, what's the point of this life? There's no point in living if you're not taking the risk, if you're not taking chances. But make sure they're calculated. So you have to do the conscious thinking. And for introverts, it comes naturally to them. But make sure you draw boundaries between thinking, conscious thinking, and overthinking. Then you may go into different spirals then, which will take you off your path. So make sure you do the conscious thinking and take that leap of faith. And lovely story, Lance. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Master. I'm glad you liked the story. I loved Indiana Jones.
Yes, what a powerful example. Indiana Jones, oh my gosh, those movies are just so inspiring because of the adventure.
Yeah.
Right? And
right.
I think the thing is, Master nailed it with taking the leap of faith. And the thing is, I almost think many introverts can live vicariously through movies and through those characters. Well, if Indiana Jones can take that risk,
so can I.
Right, so can I. I can step forward. I can believe in myself, as you mentioned, right? Have that self-belief. And as Master mentioned, do the preparation and do a little assessment about, okay, well, what does this mean if I take a step forward? But not to overanalyze, just to sort of feel it in your body and make the decision and then just leap forward. Because just a little story, I've learned so many lessons when I changed careers, and I won't be too long because I do want to get to the other speakers, and it's not about me, but just very quickly, when I changed careers from being a consultant and a project manager over to being a full-time producer, there were many lessons along the way that I had to learn, and I had to fail forward in order to learn at a fast enough speed so that I could make the leap over into the full-time. If I hadn't have had those failings forward, I wouldn't have learned so quickly. So that's what I just wanted to say. So sending big love to Karen there as well, Lance.
Thank you, Indra. Always a great time here on PVT.
Thank you so much. And hang around. We'll come back to you. Okay, so I believe it is Chima. Do you have a few quick points that you'd like to add?
Okay, thank you for the audience. I think let me add a little bit of contribution to the discussion. Introvert. I think introverts have this amazing ability, this creative ability, and that's the reason why they spend most of their times alone. Like the creep to spend most of their time alone. Some great inventors we have, like Albert Einstein. I read a part where they said Albert Einstein always took time away from his friends, family, to stay on his own. Either he goes for long walks, he goes to the woods to think. And that's majorly the part where most of his creative abilities comes out Like when he's alone, he discovers solutions to his problems. So that's a very huge um that's a very fascinating about introverts. We always crave to be alone. Now, being an introvert doesn't necessarily mean you have to be alone at all times. Sometimes I do crave for social communication with people, discussing them. It doesn't make me less of an introvert. We are all social creatures, so that's why most time we all be friends. And introverts are not shy. I want to like dispute that notion that says introverts are shy. Introverts are not shy. We are confident. We are confident. We most times we do engage in most of these important decisions, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Master, over to you for some thoughts.
I couldn't hear half of what he was saying. The connection was really bad. But yes, the last part I could hear clearly was that introverts are not shy. And I absolutely agree with you, my friend. Introverts are not shy. They're very confident. They're just not interested. That's what I've experienced. They're not just interested in, or maybe they don't have the right medium to express themselves. That's the couple of reasons I've found for myself, that they are either not interested or you don't have the right medium. Because once they find the right medium, look at these famous people. Once they find the right medium to channel that introverted creative energy, there's no stopping them. They just keep on flowing and they reach to the pinnacle of whatever field they're in. It's only when they channel it, when they find the right path, when they're on the right path, when they know where to channel that introverted energy. And it's so high vibration that's why I mentioned so many, you become unstoppable. There is meaning behind that word, becoming unstoppable, is there's nothing external that can stop you. You gain so much momentum that just by waking up in the morning is enough to do what you want to do throughout the day. That's how easy it becomes. Trust me. Thank you.
Love that so much. And there was a bit of an essence in what you just said, Master, about that made me think of when we find our purpose, that connection to our true purpose on so many levels. I almost think that's a whole topic in itself for us, for introverts, for another time. I could really ask you a lot of questions on that, on your thoughts, but we will go into that another time. And I've just marked that down as a topic for us to explore, because I think that is really powerful, and something was just uncovered then in that moment. All right, so let's go next to Purush. Welcome to the space.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello, Master? Master?
Yes, my friend. Ask your question.
Master, what is the purpose of we introverts?
That's your
Hello?
question?
And much more, like, uh, what is our purpose, like?
What is your purpose? What do you think it is your purpose?
As an introvert, I don't know, Master.
As an introvert, or whether you're an extrovert or any human being, you have a purpose. What that purpose is, you won't find that purpose in books or on YouTube videos or any other place. That purpose is inside you. Make it, you create it. That's what it is. And what you need to do, you need to sit with yourself. If you're aware enough, then it will not take long. But if you're not aware, it may take months or even years to find. Haven't you heard some people saying, when I was 40 years old, I found my purpose? Some say I was 60 years old, then I found what I need to do. Why did it take so long? Because they didn't find the time to sit with themselves. Sit with yourself, my friend. Figure out, what are you good at? What are your skills? What feels like play, simple, easy, that you enjoy doing, and learn skills that are connected to those things. Learn all you can and then execute them in a direction where you can help people, or you can build something, create something useful for others, and that becomes your purpose. It's that simple.
Right, Master. Master, one more question. Hello,
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Master. For we introverts, what are books?
That I'll put on my Telegram channel. I think this is not the right time to answer that question. So I'll put them in my Telegram channel. You can get it there. Okay.
Uh, Master, but should we read books?
Why shouldn't you? Absolutely. As much
I'm
as you
very
can.
I'm very addicted to books, but the problem is like more I read the books, I'm more diverted from my path of being social.
I don't understand what you mean.
Uh, like Master, more like reading. If I started reading, I can means I spend much more time in reading, and it feels like I'm again getting diverted from being like social. I am losing my social skills in daily life.
That's completely unrelated. Reading is a mental skill. How can you lose social skills by reading? And in fact, it enhances your social skills if you're reading the right kind of books. I don't know what kind of books are you reading. It depends on that. Maybe it's brainwashing you into something. You getting my point? Read the
Right,
right
Master. Right.
books. Yeah, read the right books recommended by the right people. And it will enhance not only your life and personality, but also your social life and help you find your purpose. Thank you.
Master, last question, Master.
Okay, can we just go? Can you hold on, and because we have some people that have been waiting for a while,
Ma'am,
and
just last question. Just
you've
last
asked
question.
you've asked 3 questions. Can you just please be patient? We will come back to you. But
Last question. Last question. Just last.
We need to give others a chance, my friend. Thank you.
okay, let's go to Jugesh. Welcome, and please share or ask a question.
Sure, I wanted to share actually. The headline which you have written, Introverts, Let's Talk, I believe you should write here, Introverts equal to doers. That's what most people are. If we talk about the people from the Bill Gates to Mark Zuckerberg to Jeff Bezos, all are introverts. They have been highly successful people because they have been doers. They speak less and they do more. And there are only there's less number of people who have attained both. They have been speaker and they have been doers. And for me, one of the best example is Steve Jobs. He's the one guy who can express himself well, and he's a doer too. So once you attain both the things, you can be extraordinary in this world. But if you're introvert, it does not mean that you're nothing. Actually, you are the person who is running the machine of the world. So I believe introvert should not be taken in a wrong way. But of course, people tend to they feel that expressing themselves is the best thing to happen, which is absolutely right. But that's not only the best thing to happen. It's really important to do the things, run the machine, rather than be the person who only speaks. That you would never want to be the person who only speaks. You want to be someone who is a doer and someone who speaks well. And if you're at least only a doer, that works well. Yep, that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Master.
Beautiful message there. And I always have this, one of my principles of life is 3 little short words that have so much meaning inside them, which is show, don't tell. And it perfectly encapsulates what my friend has said, that doing is important. And there's one more thing I want to touch upon. The Steve Jobs is one of my favorite thinkers, and as he said, he did what he wanted to do, but also he was a great communicator. Now, the reason why he was able to do that was because he was channeling. I'm now connecting this again to the point I mentioned before. Now, pay attention. He was able to do that because he was able to channel his energy in what he really wanted to do. And we are all familiar with that, how crazy he was for making the phone, the computers, the best, the quality of product the human experienced. He didn't care about features. He didn't care about making them beautiful and putting more buttons on them and making them more complex. He cared about the experience, because at the end of the day, humans are going to use it. He was channeling that energy into his work. And that's why he was able to talk and communicate with such utter clarity, because it was not him. It was his passion for his work. It was his energy channeled into the right direction. That's why what I suggest you all to do, to find something and channel that energy, and you won't feel socially awkward in speaking to people. Look at Gandhi. Look at Martin Luther King. They gave talk with thousands of people on a speakerphone on a stage. They were core introverts because their energy was channeled into the right direction. Thank you.
Really great words. Great share there. And thank you so much, Dugesh, for so eloquently putting it together. We couldn't agree more. Okay, we are going over to Shushu, and thank you for your patience. It has been a busy speaker request queue today. Warm welcome, Shushu.
Thank you. Good morning, Indra. Good morning, Master, and everybody. Thank you for this space. So I just wanted to ask. I feel like I am both introverted and extrovert. Is that possible?
Master, over to you.
Absolutely, Shushu. Absolutely, it's possible. And these people are called ambiverts. They both seek solitude and they seek connection and hanging out with people, partying and connecting with people. Both, they can get their energy from both these things. So yes, it's fine. You're totally okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Shushu. Okay, I believe we are over to Golden. You're up next. Warm welcome to the space. If you'd like a question or if you would like to share.
I'd like to share my experience and the research I found on most introverts, and I realized that introverts are the most powerful people on the planet. If we observe, most of the other speakers said, most of the successful people in the world are introverts, whom extroverts are working for. But I think the biggest mistake that most introverts do is that they channel their energy in making other people happy, making other people satisfied, making people they put other people first before them. So by the time people their affections are backlashed, then it feels like it's a waste. They need to withdraw or they need to spend some time alone and all. But um, introverts, and one thing that kills introverts' dream or creativity is excessive criticism. For example, when introverts are living in probably abusive family or they come from an abusive workplace or anything, it kills their creativity and they prefer to be alone. But if they channel that into doing something for themselves, something that would that they'll be happy, maybe a hobby or sport. Most of the famous athletes were all those that found happiness in that sport and they made it into a career. So I like every introvert to know that they are so powerful. It's only that they channel their energies into the wrong places. We are very, very powerful. We can create anything. And one thing I've also observed is that whenever someone hurts an introvert, the introvert doesn't need to do anything like go take a revenge or do anything. Somehow, some way, something unpleasant may happen to that person, and they're mostly blamed for that because they think it's because of that person that that's happened. So I also got this from some researchers of introverts that I talked to. So introverts, our minds are very, very highly active. So if we could channel it to the right thing, like what Master said, everything that we want, we can achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Golden. We appreciate you sharing in the space. So, Master, over to you.
Really grand. Golden words coming from Golden. Very, very insightful. Whatever she said. So important for introverts. So many insights. Thank you for sharing. I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Master. Okay, we are, I have to agree with everything, Golden. Everything you shared was just beautiful. Thank you for coming to the space and for feeling comfortable. Oh, yes, please, you've got your hand up, Golden. Did you have something to add, Golden?
Yeah. And also wanted to add that it's normal for every introvert to feel like extrovert. For example, Ellen DeGeneres, the one who does the Generous talk show, she's an introvert, but because of her career, she acts extrovert. So don't feel you have to be in between or you have to do this. Just extrovert cannot be introvert, but introvert can also be introvert and extrovert. For example, me, um, when I'm at home, I'm totally introvert. That one there. But when I'm outside with people or at work, I'm totally extrovert. I'm all social and all that because it's introverts. I mean, being introvert can be a little bit lonely when you always have to be alone and I mean no social life and all. So it's normal for introverts to feel they have to be alone at the same time be extroverts. I mean, and also if you come from a very critic environment, just know that they've seen something about you that is about to come up. You have to know, you have to stay strong and get and figure out your way out there. Don't let what people criticize you about or what people say about you just tell you that, oh, you are this, you are that. Why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like that? Why can't you follow this? You know, all you have to do is to Just know who you are, know that you are powerful. At the end of the day, you will come out shining. And most of the time, too, it does. Thank you.
Well said, indeed. Well said. Thank you for sharing that piece, Shushu. I think the essence of what you just said is just be you and stick to your own beliefs and don't feel like you have to conform. I think both Master and I were alluding to some of these things that you shared, that how important it is to understand yourself and to have that self-awareness. So lovely add-on. Thank you. Okay. Welcome, Mark of the Beast. Mark, over to you.
Hey, I just wanted to share. I just first off want to say thank you. I love the positive vibe tribe. Like positivity is what it's all about. For me, I try to just elevate the highest levels of positivity, manifesting positivity, and just raise the vibration to the highest levels I possibly can. So I just wanted to share a little bit. Just wanted to say, look, if you always think that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are. We have to be able to focus on the things that we can control of, and things that, and the things that we can't, we got to let go. You know, I will say this, like, eventually it gets better, right? Without any sort of explanation. One day you just realize that you're no longer upset or even mad. You're no longer hurt or bothered by the things that took so much of your energy, time, and thoughts. You find yourself at a place of peace, and that feeling is just peace, the peace that you've always wanted. I always say that don't disturb my peace because you can't find yours. And if you don't tell yourself who you are, then you allow anybody else to tell you who you are. Like, affirmations are so powerful. Like, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're determined,
Okay, we just actually lost you, Mark. If you want to, if you are having technical difficulties, you might have to leave and come back, because you've completely you started to sound like a bit of a robot and then you just dropped out. But yeah, come back and share some thoughts on introverts today, because that's our focus. But thank you for sharing all those positive vibes. Always love to hear that. We can never have enough in the positivity vibe tribe. Sorry, it looks like you're stuck, suspended in time on this on our speaker panel. So sorry this happened. As I mentioned, if you can hear me, you might not even be able to hear me. Please leave the space, come back, and we'll invite you back up. Okay. Warm welcome to Lavana, who has been in a listener in the Positivity Vibe Tribe for many, many times, for a long time. So it's going to be wonderful to hear you speak. Over to
Hi.
you.
Hi, hello. Well, first off, I want to say this group is awesome. It is always very peaceful, calming. It's a very comforting spot. Um, can y'all hear me? First off,
Yes, we can hear you.
okay. I have so many friends. All my friends are introverts. I attract so many introverts. I myself am the opposite. So I understand. I take my time to learn and understand people like y'all, because I want y'all to also be a part of life. Life is so beautiful. It is. And a lot of my friends, when I speak to them, they just need somebody to guide them, because they just don't know how to live that life openly and excitingly. Like, when I take them out dancing, they often don't want to go because they feel like they're going to be judged. And I tell them, at the end of the day, nobody actually cares. Nobody cares. And you just got to love life, enjoy yourself, and whatever choices you choose to make, just do them. Like, and it's so easy to say to me, and maybe so hard to do, but there will always be support, and there's always friends like me, and it's all about love. And if you fall, having a support group and friends, like, they're going to be there to catch you. And we just got to stop being afraid. Life is so big. And yeah, I just want to let y'all know that.
Okay, thank you, Lavana, for sharing. Master, did you have any thoughts on what Lavana shared?
She sounds like a philosopher. You just want to live and do whatever you want to do. Yes, easy to say. You can read them everywhere on quotes. But actually doing them, it's hard, especially for introverts. I'll tell you the reason why, then, and this may even help you to understand your own nature better. If you ask an introvert, let's party. If you're an extrovert, you know it's going to give you a lot of energy. And if you ask an introvert, let's party, why does the introvert say no? What is he thinking? And the extrovert is like, what's wrong with you? Who doesn't like partying, and who doesn't like dancing to music and drinking and all that? And the extrovert, what the introvert longs for is a deeper connection. What's happening there is surface level. It's not wrong. It's good for the extroverts because they like all that. But what's happening there is the surface level. They don't get that connection that they really need. You ask them to have a cup of tea and talk for a couple of hours on something they're interested in. Look how excited they will get. They will go crazy. Let's go for a walk. Ask them to go for a walk with you. And they'll have a biggest smile you've ever seen in years on their faces. So it's their nature. If you want to connect with them, you have to understand their nature. They're not meant to be with a lot of people. They're meant to be with a few people in a safe space where they can talk about deep things and connect with each other. And that's what connecting is for them. And they're all beautiful.
May I add one thing?
Please, there, go ahead.
So when I say partying and dancing, I don't mean drinking. I don't mean any of that. So I understand that some people may hold themselves back from dancing or singing because they're not good at it, apparently. But you don't have to be good at anything. It's a self form. It's a form of expression, and dancing makes you feel good. We don't have to drink. Just enjoy yourself. Uh, Listen to the flow of music and just let it go through you. And that's the thing that I try to teach my friends. And when I take them on with me and I teach them that form of art of, it doesn't have to be this extra big thought of like having to go hardcore on drinking or like stuff like that. No, dancing and singing makes you feel good and you're expressing your emotions as well. Just like going for a walk, but some people don't know that they need the dancing or that they need the singing. And when I finally teach them, man, I don't know how to sing either. I don't know how to dance either, but you know what? I do it. And if I do it and they see me, they enjoy it. And, after a night like that, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, let's go back. And that's what I mean about as an extrovert, like, let's help guide our introverts. And, there's other forms. Like, you don't even have to, if it's the talking part, you don't even have to talk. Just express yourself, by the other part.
Thanks, Lavana, for chiming in that last piece.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so we are getting towards the end of our space. So, Daniel, would you like to add a couple of quick thoughts, or do you have a question for Master or myself? Warm welcome to the space.
Thanks, Indra. Always happy to be here. It's always great to hear your voice. I would agree with everything that everyone said. I did enter the space a bit late. I apologize for that. But I would allude to what Master was talking about before about surface level. I appreciate the introvert topic, and I'm familiar with it. I know a lot about it. But to me, it's surface level. It's not necessarily if you're an introvert or you're an extrovert. I mean, yes, that will help you through your life if you can understand bits and pieces of how you operate. But in the end, that's not going to complete your life. That's not where happiness comes from. I mean, I can appreciate going out dancing. I can appreciate all that stuff. And it all sounds great when you have a cool car and good, nice clothes and you've done something that people admire. But in the end, that's not where true happiness comes from or completion. Life happens to you. And some people would say it happens for you. But I mean, in my opinion, that I wish people would just take a leap of faith. Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks over the fire and faith leaps over it. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their lives. That's not what I'm trying to do by any means. But what I am enjoying is I'm having fun trying to appreciate and just see people for who they are, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert. Personally, I can see through that. I feel like everybody is unconditional love, period. And, I mean, people choose different things every day, right? Your life is choices. And most of those choices are based on either love or fear. Fear is going to be a very big player in your life, but you have the ability to decide how much of a factor that's going to play. So, I'm not going to take up a lot of time here, but I just think that, I have a good, kind of an interesting and funny meme actually on introverts that's on my page right now. I think I replied to one of Master's tweets with it, but it's on my page, and it I think it's a great reflection of the word introvert and how people relate. And it's just a simple meme, right? It's just 4 pictures, but those pictures to me were pretty powerful. So, yeah, I appreciate the time, Indra. I really do. And thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel. Master, did you have any thoughts on what Daniel just shared with us?
Absolutely. Very, very deep insights there by Daniel. And I would just like to add one thing which would help you all to understand life in a deeper way and not to suffer. What we are all running away is the basic thing. You may want everything in your life, nothing wrong with them. See, it's always apple and oranges. That's how I see life. the duality. You don't want to get into the complex books and 3-hour videos that explain duality and all that. No, just see, there are apples. I'd like to break things down in simplicity. There are apples and then oranges, okay? Some people like apples and say they are good for you. Some people like oranges and they say are good for you. When the people who like apples, they eat oranges, they get sick. And then the people who like oranges, they eat apples, they get sick. What is better for your health? Is there a way to tell? No. That's life. That's everything. Whether you put this concept to anything in your life, and I can guarantee that you will be able to accept the other person's perspective too. And when you reach that level where you like oranges, but you're okay with apples too. You have no problem with apples. My friend, that is enlightenment. That's all there is. And that's so hard for you to do that because of the conditioning. See, we are conditioned. We're living in a dualistic world, conditioned world. Everything is good and bad, you see, my and yours. I'm good, you better. So there's this distance. And when you break that, so there's one word, perspective. Remember this word, apple, oranges, and perspective. It's your perspective. It's okay. You don't have to change yours, and you don't have to fight with other people to change theirs. That's peace. That will give you eternal mental peace when you accept your own perspective, you're confident, you're okay with yours, and you have no problem with others. Thank you.
Nicely said. Thank you, Master. Okay, so as we're at the end of this space, I would like to ask Lance to share any last thoughts, if you have any, on this topic today that we've been talking about, introverts, and specifically we've been going into our some of the specifics of personality traits of introverts. And I do ask Lance to chime in as a summary, because not only is he a very, very valued member and consistent member from the beginning of PVT, he's very active in the community, but he has many, many years as a coach, and he's constantly studying and researching and doing more courses and everything. So he has a lot of understanding of so many of these topics. So that's why I do call on Lance as a summary person before we go to Master. Over to you, Lance.
Thank you, Indra. To wrap things up, everything that's been said here today has just been always wonderful. It's always a great time on PVT, and I'd always love what Master and Indra, what you always have to say, but also what everybody else has to say. You see, when one person grows, it's not just a one size fits all. It's when we all grow together, we all have a voice. I remember one time there was a Chief Elijah Harper that one time said when he was speaking, this is his signature speak when he would be signing off. He says, "We have a single feather, a single voice, a people united." So he was always talking about when one person has the power to speak, and then one person gets inspired to speak, and then another and another. We all connect as one together, and it's not just connecting with one brother, one sister. We're all simultaneously connecting together globally. So this is very, very wonderful. So thank you always for the wonderful space.
Thank you so much, Lance, and sending healing energy to Karen, so much light and love and healing to her, as I know she's resting and taking it easy. We always love to hear her, but we understand she's healing at the moment. So lots of love to Karen. Thanks so much,
Thank you,
Lance.
Indra. Lots of love.
So it has been an incredible space. And wow, Master and I really look forward to next week bringing more discussions, more topics, and more value to the introvert community. Master, it has been a truly amazing discussion today. Love to hand over to your last thoughts on this space.
Thank you, Indra, and thank you, Lance, for your beautiful insights. And thank you, everyone who spoke today with their insights and sharing and problems. And it just shows that we are all human, don't you see? We're mere humans trying to figure out here and there, bits and pieces, trying to figure out our lives, trying to solve this puzzle of life. Now, what's the best way? Don't you think about it? What's the best way? As an introvert, all we are doing is thinking, aren't we? All you're doing is thinking, and you wonder at 2 a.m. in the morning, what's this all about? Why am I even here? And that question really intrigued me when I was very young. And with my experience and experiments with life, there is no answer to this question. That's the truth. If someone's giving you the answer, he's lying. My friends, they are lying to you. You are the only one who can figure out. I have my live experiments and insights, and I share on Twitter. This is how I solve. You can never, ever shy away from experimenting with things, but don't blindly believe anything. Because as introverts, we are always getting influenced by ideas, because that's the main thing, you see. That's our core. The ideas, the thinking part of the brain. That's the most active, that's the most dominant part of introverts. And anyone with a little power, especially the extroverts, they're very good. They can influence you very easily. Very, very easy for them to influence you, because they're able to tap into that core part of you, which is the thinking part. Like, for example, Tony Robbins. Nothing against him, so powerful, such an inspiration. Can you ever say, no, he's wrong? Nah, I don't believe that. Can you? Because he had that kind of energy, that kind of level of energy and vibration that you cannot. And you're always like, yes, he's right. He's right. Yeah. You're always nodding. Yeah, he's right. But no, he's not right all the time. If he asks you to go out and meet 10 people every day, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. It will drain you out. So no, he's not right all the time. But, again, a but, experiment, try, and then see if it's working for you. If it's working, great. If it's not working, stop doing it. And then again, stressing on the most important part, which I started with, and then again, I'm ending with it, just to complete the circle, as nature does. Spend time in silence and solitude as much as you can. Try to know who you are, what are your skills and strengths. And just like Steve Jobs did, and just like every other introvert, the powerful ones, the great ones who changed the world, Einstein and Gandhi and Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King and Rabindranath Tagore and further Dostoevsky, Haruki Murakami, they're great writers and leaders. They channeled their energy. They sat there in their introverted world, in their rooms, and thought about life and what they need to do. And they tapped into that introverted power inside their heart. Follow your soul. It will guide you. You don't have to listen to anyone. Figure out your thing and just do that. That will make you happy. That will be your true expression of you as a human being, as an introvert. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Master, for those closing remarks. And what I want to just add on and actually just emphasize what you shared there is what will make you happy. And I think that is a key for all of us. The majority of people in this space are probably introverts, and we have some extroverts, and all are always welcome in our space with Master and myself here. We welcome everybody with open arms, with an open heart. I speak confidently for Master and myself here in this space. And I think there was so many pieces of wisdom that have been spoken in this space. Master really goes straight to the source. And that's something that I just really admire about him, is he basically is sharing that the secret is what is going to work for you as an individual. It's great to read all these books, and look, I am an avid reader. I always have a pile of books around me, and I'm reading at least one or two at a time, usually two. But I do tune into myself, and I've learnt that, to tune into what do I need. And I ask myself, what do I need? And sometimes I even write it down in my journal. What do I need in this moment? And you'd be surprised at what comes up. Sometimes you might not even write it. You might just sit with yourself. And that's about going into solitude, going into your internal world, and not being afraid to spend time in your internal world, and blocking out all external sounds, not always having the sound around us, the music playing, the videos, the TV, whatever it is, to just spend time and invest time in yourself. So thank you so much for your valuable time, Master. I want to thank all of the speakers today, as we have been running this space for an hour and a half. It's really valuable to hear all of your insights, and thank you for your questions. We will be back next Wednesday at the same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to all the listeners, and thank you to everybody who has been lighting up the chat. We have over 41 messages in the chat. So again, if we haven't got to liking and acknowledging your post, Master and myself will definitely go back in afterwards, and we really appreciate all your thoughts and your sharing in the chat. And thank you to Twitter for giving us this chat feature, as we love it so much. We're able to connect with everybody on another level that can't always speak. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to our sponsors, Wordsmith Pakistan. There is the Positivity Vibe Tribe link up in the nest if you haven't joined the community. There is also my YouTube channel. I really appreciate a subscribe. Don't forget about going and following Master if you haven't already followed him. He also has an amazing introvert letter, so do subscribe to that. He runs an amazing Telegram channel, Aware Beings. And also, for more content from Master, go to masternobody.com. So thank you, everybody, for being on this amazing journey with us. We will be back, the Positivity Vibe Tribe will be back with Success Minded tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about abundance mindset. So, oh yeah, abundance mindset. And that goes perfectly with, as a side dish to this introvert discussion, because really introverts are abundant in the mind. So on that note, thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you for sharing all the joy in this space, all the discussions. And we'll be back tomorrow with more wonderful discussions in the Positivity Vibe Tribe space. And in the meantime, I'm sending you love, light, and blessings.